I'm not throwing Richard Childress under the bus, but he was walking with a NASCAR official and points to our thing and says, "There it is."
It's the Kenny Wallace Conversation, brought to you by JEGS.
NASCAR's been allowing you to weld to the top of the intake manifold because people were fussing about some manufacturer had a short manifold and the carburetor spacer was only allowed to be 1.5 inches, I think it was at the time, I think. And so somebody's car intake was too short, so they decided to let you weld on top of the intake manifold. So you could weld 12 inches on the frickin' manifold if you wanted. But on the letter of the law, the spacer said it had to be a max of 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
So everybody, and us and everybody else, were welding up the intake manifold to put them where they, where right up against the hood. Basically, you want your air cleaner up against the hood. Basically, is what it was. Well, we got ready to go to Richmond. Robin put the air cleaner on it, closed the hood, and it's like, damn, this thing needs to be moved up a 1/2 inch. So he takes it apart. He ain't got time. We're running late. So he puts a 2-inch spacer on it. Don't matter. They're not enforcing this rule anymore. You can be as tall as you want. We passed tech 4 times, 3 times, whatever, pre-tech, qualifying tech, after tech, pre-race, after the race. I'm not throwing Richard Childress under the bus, but he was walking with a NASCAR official and points to our thing and says, "There it is."
Yeah.
Bill French Jr. used to always go to the races, but he didn't go to this one, and he wasn't there. So they call him up on the phone, and he probably isn't as aware as the NASCAR officials that they'd been letting them weld to the intake manifold.
He didn't know the totality of where he got to.
Long story short, he says, put them at the back of the, find them 46,000 and put them at the back of the one lap down. That cost us 46 points. So we come out of the gate. We're real strong. We run third in the points the year before, our second year together with Roush. And that's where I blew up at Atlanta. I was actually second in the points when I blew up at Atlanta in '89, our second year. So anyway, we take the point lead in May. So you can whine about the penalty if you want, but we led the points from May all the way to the next last race at Phoenix. We go to Phoenix. Dale Earnhardt sits on the pole, leads the most laps, and wins the race. And we run 10th and never lead a lap.
Gotcha.
So you can also say that's where we lost the championship, because we went from leading the points to behind going into Atlanta.
Right.
And so we go to Atlanta to test. Earnhardt shows up to test 2. We take 3 cars. We beat our brains out.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck. And the 28 car was setting up there. Earnhardt shows up. He runs about an hour and a half. He's quicker than everybody. He puts it on the trailer and leaves. Goes hunting.
Yeah.
And they asked me if I want to drive the 28 car. So I go up there and put the rags in the seat, and I go out there, and the first time by, I'm like a quarter of a second faster than my fastest lap.
And you don't fit in the seat
of my 3 cars. And so all this is going to be detailed in the book. So I'm not going to go into
that's good
detail. But at the end of the day, we borrow that car and a Yates motor for the race. And you can say that's why we lost the championship too. A lot of people do. But we ran, first of all, Matt pointed out to me recently that we ran out of gas twice in the race and had an ignition box go out. So in black and white, we ran 6th and Earnhardt ran 3rd. and we lost by 26 points. So what that means is really the only way I could have won the championship was win the race.
Yeah.
What makes you think that I would have won the race with one of my cars?
Right. Yeah. Which was a quarter second slower.
Which would have drove a little bit better than Davy's old blow snout, but it would have had 60 less horsepower.
Yeah. Yeah. Roush never had horsepower. You made those motors look good.
So
true or false?
I'm not going to say, but I'll tell you this much. You know, okay. I always worked on center of the corner speed, always roll the corner, always roll ASA and everything. So long story short, there were multiple, we lost the championship in two different ways, but I don't think there was any chance that we would have went there and won the race with our own car. We had only won 3 races the whole season. Why would you expect to be able to pull Atlanta off